Greetings, CBC, and welcome to this week's Sunday warm-up. In case you didn't hear it from this past Sunday, we're going to pause the John series, and we'll pick back up with that series in August. So in August, we'll be in John 6, and we'll spend the whole month in that one chapter of John chapter 6. This month, what we're going to be doing is spending this month in the Psalms. My encouragement was that we together would be reading the Psalms this month. So immerse yourself in the Psalms. However that is for you, if you want to read one a day, if you want to read a couple of verses today, there is no right or wrong. Just challenge ourselves to be in the Psalms. If you want to follow that Billy Graham kind of plan, you could read 5 Psalms a day, and that will cover the entire book of the Psalms in this 1 month. Again, however you want to do it, there's no right or wrong, but develop some sort of plan and a way of thinking about how we will process. My challenge in that, maybe more specifically, would be whether you do 5 a day or however, don't approach it haphazardly, but really be intentional about some kind of plan to be able to work our way through various Psalms. I'll give you one idea of way to do it this week that would be different than the 5 a day. So this week, Psalm 73. At minimum, as you're warming up, read. I would read every day at least Psalm 73. And just coming back to it, being prayerful about it, really listening to, noting things that you're reading. You'll note that the Psalms often have these little musical notations or little just side notes for us. This is a Psalm of Asaph. And so as we begin, I'm going to give you a handful of verses this Sunday. We're not going to read all of them, or we're honestly not going to read any of them, but I just want to give them to you if you want to do some further background information as to who Asaph is as we see in Scripture. So I'll give you a couple of these. These are just for extra credit if you want to dive a little bit deeper into understanding a little bit about Asaph. It's not necessarily going to impact how we read and understand this psalm, but it just adds a little bit of depth and understanding of who Asaph is. So if you want to go a little bit deeper, here's I'll give you just a couple for now. In 1 Chronicles 16 and 1 Chronicles 25. Now, both of those, they'll have lists of names and genealogies. You'll find these just small little portions within those chapters. There's some details about who Asaph was, what his role was, and uniquely some things about him. Now, another way you could approach Psalm 73 and understanding Asaph and the Psalms this week is just read the Psalms of Asaph this week. There's a handful. It's definitely doable in the course of a week, so I'll give them to you. Asaph wrote Psalm 50, and he also wrote Psalms 73 to 83. So part of an assignment this week is you could just read all the Psalms of Asaph. We're not going to do anything with those additional Psalms this Sunday, but it's just another way to think about how you could read the Psalms this week, and maybe just under the theme of what was it that Asaph was writing. Look at his Psalms. Do you see and note any kind of common themes that we would pick up from the variety of Psalms that Asaph wrote? So for, again, the focus this week that we'll be looking at is Psalm 73. And we want to look at this psalm and understand it in context, understand what it was that Asaph was writing, what it was that he was wrestling with. This is a very personal one for him. From him, he's very transparent about his own struggles. And so we want to look at what his struggle was, and the way he describes it as for him, his feet had almost slipped. We want to consider practically for us today, what are other ways that our feet slip, or that we know that we got to be very cautious in some areas. Might be similar to his, might be something different. We want to look at where it was that he found a depth of understanding as to what was actually going on. Where did he find that? What did he do? Where did he go? The honesty there too of the bitterness of his own heart and the danger of what was happening in his own heart. And then he uses in the ESV, the nevertheless, this understanding of it, and this transition from his human limitations to the divine power of God and trusting the authority of God. Look at the prescriptive plan that we give, and that's the way I'm going to term it, the prescriptive plan of how we live the nevertheless, the complete trust in God. There is plans to that. There's an intentionality to that. And so we want to look at, I think there's three things that we see in the end of this psalm that become very powerful, very prescriptive, in a way in which we can navigate those difficult areas within our lives. So I love this psalm. It really captures the essence of what the psalms are, this fundamental trust in God, and authenticity, a transparency, a very realness to it. It's very raw. And so it captures a lot of what we see in the psalmist. Really love this one. Hope to spend some time this week on it, preparing, listening to, studying, and hearing the words of this psalm. So we'll gather Sunday. Come prepared, come ready to be a part of worship, the songs, the singing, the studying of Scripture. We are going to have communion this week. I know it's a holiday weekend, so I know a number of you travel and maybe camping, doing a variety of things. Boy, if you can't be in here in person with us, if you don't have space and time to listen online with us, what a better time to be out in nature and camping or with family and loved ones, and just to pull out the Psalms and do some reading together in the Psalms. So God bless you this week, wherever you might be. Hope to see you in person. Hope, as we gather this Sunday, just to be in worship with you and celebrate all that our God is doing in our lives. God bless you this week.